Hi everyone, I'm Riley, and today I'm going to do my first book review for you. I decided to do my review on one of my favorite books of all time, and this children's book is called A Story for Bear. This is a book that I discovered recently, actually. I think it was probably about 2 years ago. I was walking through a library and I found it. I actually cried the first time I read the story, and it still touches my heart today. This is a simple book, and so I hope that you don't find it boring, because even though the plot doesn't have magical adventures and heroes and violence, it tells a story of friendship and learning to love literacy and reading and the magic and the change that reading can have on us in our lives. So here's the book. And to categorize it, I decided that it was modern fantasy. Even though it's not a fanciful story and most of the characters are believable and the plot is logical, the bear himself is a bit of a fairy tale creature. He's not exactly like a regular bear that you would see at Yellowstone or something like that. Now, this is also a picture book. You can see from just the cover that the pictures are huge and important, and they're beautiful. The story is actually written by Dennis Haisley, and it's illustrated by Jim LaMarche. And I think that Jim LaMarche is extremely talented. So I'm going to turn to the first page so you can get a real feel for the illustrations. Okay, so LaMarche actually does his pictures in colored pencil and acrylic, but this is on watercolor paper. And so it gives the entire story a warm feel. And that's one of my favorite things about this book. It's very comforting. It would be really comforting to children to be read as a bedtime story. It's bright and happy, even though not every single thing that happens in the story is completely happy. So I really enjoy it. Now, as I said before, it's a story about learning to love reading and literacy, but this is kind of from the point of view of a bear. And so I want to give you a feel for the plot by reading a little. So the first page says, "One day a young bear was nosing through bushes when he saw something lying on the ground. He looked at it with curiosity. He sniffed at its tiny marks. Then the bear took it in his teeth and brought it back to his cave. Through the years, the bear looked at the paper with wonder. It seemed as far away and mysterious as the moon. One summer afternoon, the bear ranged farther than usual from where he lived. He followed a scent until he came to a clearing, and there he saw several strange things all at once. There was a cabin and brightly colored laundry hanging on a line, and a woman. From behind a thick tree, he watched as the woman sat down and opened a mysterious square thing she was carrying. His nose tickled from the wonderful smells of the cabin, bacon and coffee and bread, but he gazed only at her, trying to understand what she was doing as she held the book. He felt calm as he watched her. When she closed the book, he ran away. And so as the story goes on, you get to know the bear and this woman a little bit more. He starts to get more brave and gets closer and closer to her as he comes back every day. And you see a little bit of a friendship develop between these two characters, even though he's a bear and she's a lady. So, but I wanted to read to you one of my favorite lines of this book, because it's written so beautifully and with such feeling. You can just picture it so easily. So this particular line is, as the bear goes home after hearing her read, obviously she's not with him anymore, but the happy feelings he gets stays with him. So it says, "These feelings often stayed inside of him as he lumbered back to his world at the end of the day. And sometimes in the babbling of a brook, he would think he heard her again and become quite happy." And so I think it's lines like this that really solidify for me the way that this book would be so beneficial for children and people of all ages. I think smaller children would love this book, and then I think high school kids could benefit from it as well, because I think it gives an understanding of the way, as I said earlier, reading makes a difference in our lives. And sometimes we don't even realize how important it is. So anyway, later on in the story, we're kind of left with the question of what's going to happen to the bear and the woman. It says, and then I'll show you the picture, "One afternoon, when he returned to the cabin, There was a chill in the air. She put down her book, looked at the bear, and said, I wish you could read these books when I'm away for the winter. Then she smiled at him, and the bear, seeing her smile, felt lightness in his heart, and she began to read aloud again. Here's the picture. So I'm going to leave the rest of what happens for you to figure out. I really recommend that you read this book so that you can finish hearing about the bear and the woman and their love for reading together. So please pick it up, and thank you for watching. Bye.